All right, Mutters. Next up, our third guest tonight, our third group of guests, Matt Carpenter, a Tough Mudder Legionnaire since 2016, with a wild and incredible story to share. Matt, we're going to bring you on the air here in just a second. How you doing?
Hi, buddy. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Pretty good. So, Matt, you were telling me before we went on the air, but I'd love for you to tell everybody else. How did you get started in TM 2016, 4 years back?
Uh, it's a boring story compared to the one you want to know about. Long story short, bad breakup led to doing my first Tough Mudder. 'Cause I'd seen it being advertised on Facebook and thought one day I'll do that when I'm fit enough. Um, what I didn't realise was I had a little hitchhiker tagging along. So, rewind, go back a little bit. 2010, I had a slightly intoxicated night out, little reunion drink that was supposed to be 2 drinks max. That
Sounds like it was
escalated.
a few more than two.
There's a friend was in the army. He's on leave, and you can imagine. I wake up the next morning, get out of bed or roll out of bed, go to the toilet, have a quick look in the mirror to see how rough I look, and there's a big big gash going down my head. So I end up passing out, go to hospital. Turns out I've got a concussion, so they shift me into a CT scan. Just make sure I haven't caused actual brain damage during my drunken escapades. So I get the congratulations, you've got a brain, yada yada yada. Off you go. Don't be so stupid next time. So I plod through life, quite happy, and doing my own crazy, random things. Get to 2016, doing my first Tough Mudder, and I thought it was just you turn up, you do the run, you get a headband, and you get a t-shirt, great. And then I see people walking around rocking these green headbands, these blue, yellows. I'm thinking, what's this about? So I'm looking at the headbands, I see the numbers, and then I realise this is it's something I'm going to get addicted to, basically. And yeah, go forward after that, crack on, do my 2017 Tough Mudder, get my green headband. Quite happy with that. And then I'll carry on as normal. Get to 2018, got everything planned out for me. I'm supposed to be doing ETM, my first one that year. 2 Tough Mudders over a weekend, and just some other random things. Trying to raise money for a homeless charity I was working with. I was working in a homeless hostel, so it made sense to work in that or volunteer in that kind of role. What I didn't realise, obviously, was the CT scan I'd had in 2010. I had missed, well, the person that got the results for it missed something other than, So I go to work, do a long stint of night shifts. I go to do an afternoon shift after these said night shifts and just keel over. Felt like I was having a stroke. Obviously, get blue lighted to hospital, and I get after keeping me in overnight and me trying to escape. Nobody wants to be in the hospital. Doctor comes and sees me. Congratulations, you've got a brain tumor. That's why you've keeled over and had a seizure. Which, yeah. So when I meet the neurosurgeon, my consultant, is going through the game plan for removing said hitchhiker. So it shows the scans, the MRI scans that they've done to determine his brain tumor, and he shows me the scan from 2010. He says, "Why have you had a CT scan in 2010?" So I try and find a really nice and simple way of wording. I got absolutely wasted and fell over. Okay, fair enough. Well, that right there, pointing at the screen, is your brain tumor in 2010. But it's quite common to miss a tumor, apparently. In all fairness, it's something like that. I mean, when it was actually found and diagnosed, it was the size of a cream egg.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys get cream eggs, but
Yeah. I really love the Cadbury cream eggs. So.
I'll never look at a cream egg the same way since. But yeah. So set up a game plan, and the first question obviously, minus the usual kind of questions: is it cancer? No, it wasn't cancer. Blah blah blah. I've got Europe's toughest mudder and two tough mudders coming up in like June, July time. Do you think I'll be ready after the surgery to do them? And it's just a flat nope. Don't be stupid. So there are a few more consultations leading up to the surgery, and it's the same question every time. The surgeon was not impressed. The family were not impressed. Nobody wanted me to do it for obvious reasons. So, brain surgery. I get whisked in for that, which is full of stories of itself. You're obviously awake for brain surgery, so they can make sure they're not messing up certain parts of your brain. And they have to talk to you while they're doing the brain surgery, obviously. So this nurse is sat next to me talking away, asks me some random questions, and I vaguely remember her saying, what are your plans for the rest of the year for recovery? And, so I say, I've got two tough mudders coming up and I'm definitely doing them, but nobody wants me to do it. And so she just laughed, said something along the lines of, you're going to be recovering for the next year at least. You will not be doing tough mudder. She obviously thought I was joking. So obviously I was in hospital for the week afterwards. Turns out brain surgery is a bit more major than I thought. So in my kit bag, I had my 2017 Tough Mudder t-shirt, my two Tough Mudder headbands, my Tough Mudder shoes. Like everywhere I walked around in the hospital or staggered around the hospital, it was with my Tough Mudder headband on. I've still got my bandages around my head, but I made a point of wearing my TM headband just to make a point of I will be doing it. I don't care how many people say I can and won't. I'm doing it. Surprisingly, a lot of people. So
did you meet anybody in the hospital who had done a Tough Mudder before?
Nope. Apparently, they're all normal. It meant I don't know. I think it's the community side of it that just sort of meant something to me. I mean, when I say I was determined to do it, I'm not super fit. I'm not an elitist or an athlete by any stretch, but it's the doing it. I didn't care at the time if I'd have to walk it, crawl it, or bloody roll it. I don't care how I was going to do it. I was just going to do it. I wanted my headband. I was going to earn it. So before I went for the surgery, I got the briefing of this is what you're going in for. Do you understand? These are the things that could go wrong during the surgery. Like just normal stuff, a bleed on the brain, strokes, fits, seizures, whatever, and infections. So he said, almost never happens. Don't worry about it too much. You just need to sign the waiver acknowledging it. It's fair enough. So a few months after the surgery, I'd gone back to work, doing my night shifts. Absolutely loved my job. Shouldn't have been back at work, but I'm quite stubborn. So I'm just minding my own business, doing my thing. Obviously, I know I'm going to be doing the two Tough Mudders I'm pretty sure it's July for 2018. So all the while leading up to that, I'd been having these tingling sensations in my head near where the surgery, or pretty much on where the surgery was. And I fobbed it off. I don't know whether it was just being lazy or just trying to avoid seeing my doctor when I didn't really want to. So long story short, I do the two Tough Mudders. I think it was the Sunday. You might have seen the picture. Everybody warned me, but doing two Tough Mudders, I'd end up seriously injured or dead because of said surgery. So the injury I come away with is thanks to Mud Mile. I don't know how I did it. I rolled or fell or slipped. My head went completely under the water. I ended up with a piece of grit under my eyelid. For the last few miles of the TM course, because obviously it was 2 laps, the last 3-4 miles, I had this piece of grit under my eyelid, which for me it just hurt. I didn't realise there was grit under it. So every time I'm going like that, trying to wipe my eye, get rid of the itching. Oh yeah. Quick trip to A&E when I got home. It's the first time I'd heard a nurse say, "Oh my God, first or two." So she drew it on a piece of paper, an eyeball, and then obviously my cornea and it was basically she's covered in the entire eyeball. She said your cornea, 95% of it is covered in scratches. So I earned my 4x headband with that one there. I earned that one with a nice little eye patch. So fast forward a little bit further into the year, I was supposed to be going to South Africa, so I went for a consultation just before I left. I'm chatting away with the oncologist, and I just drop it in conversation towards the end. I like the tingling sensation in my head, buddy. It's getting a bit weird now. It goes down to my neck, and I'm not sure. So he just says, "I'll look at it before you leave. Don't worry." But the nurse in there, taking minutes, I think she was doing. She like just turns around, obviously quite shocked. She's like, "Did you just say there's a hole in your head?" I'm like, "Yeah, right there," and it feels. So she comes waltzing over, has a look, and then shrieks, does the whole, "Oh my God." Runs over to the phone.
It's never what you want to hear from a nurse.
No, already heard it once, and my eye just, yeah. So, so she calls through to one of the other hospitals and says, "Matt does not have an appointment with you, but he's got one now. He's coming over. It'll be an hour. You need to get him to see the neurosurgeon." So I'm thinking, it can't be that bad. I'm not in pain. Anyway, long story short, go for the CT scan just to prove that I'm okay in my eyes. Meet the neurosurgeon again. Shows me the scans that they've just done, and there's a gaping hole in my head. I say gaping hole; it's big enough for a 20p coin. So there's a thin layer of skull left. I mean, you could see that thin layer of skull. All the flesh had gone. Yeah, I should have warned you. This is one of them cringeworthy stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, hole in the head. The thin layer of skull that was left is pretty much paper thin by this point. It was a bone-eating infection, so obviously, yeah. So had I gone to South Africa in a few days, I was working with baboons that do like to jump on your head. That thin layer of what was left of skull would have been shrapnel when a baboon jumped on my head and gone straight in, and yeah. So I was talking about the tingling sensation I'd had. I said, this has been since June-ish, June, July. So they said, that's the infection. How did you not notice? So I've done my 2 TMs, the weekend of TMs, 3 and 4, with said hole in my head. So how I didn't crack my head. And, yeah.
That's the power of determination right there. You were so keen on getting it done and finishing. You weren't even going to let what a bone-eating bacteria or or the threat of a hole in your head slow you down. But maybe advise not running a Tough Mudder with a hole in your head next time.
No. Yeah. So yeah, 5th Tough Mudder. Obviously that was big on my list. I was in Africa when I booked the 5th Tough Mudder, and from a previous fundraising event I'd done years ago, I'd picked up a pink gorilla costume. So I'm clearing out my house one day, the weeks before TM, and I see said pink gorilla costume, just about to throw it out, and I think, Tough Mudder, let's see what it's like doing it. So I rock up in my pink gorilla costume, which was interesting. Hardest Tough Mudder ever. It's like wearing a flipping carpet. Obviously, I've done that Tough Mudder. Obviously, so go on a little bit further. I feel like I'm waffling on way too much now.
So, Matt, every time the story keeps going, there's more to happen. How's your health now?
It's good now. After I've done the last Tough Mudder, long story short, they found out the tumour had started to regrow, so it's making its grand return. So that gave me the radiotherapy. I needed the radiotherapy for it. Hence the really odd-looking mask over there with the headband on. So 6 weeks of yeah, 6 weeks of basically going in and getting shot with radiation in the head or nuking my little hitchhiker. The guy in the picture, he's one of the radiologists. So my first day of radiotherapy, I rocked up wearing my t-shirt because why not? So we get talking. He said he's done his 7 or 8 Tough Mudders. He'll be doing Yorkshire that year, last year. So yeah, I said when it comes to my last day of radiotherapy, can we get a picture with the mask, my newest headband and his, and yeah, cool
Great.
picture for you. But yeah.
Well, Matt, you are an absolute legend now, and amazing. Like I love hearing stories like this from members of the Tough Mudder community. I had never heard your story before until today. Absolutely blown away. But we appreciate you sticking with us to kind of get through it, and we're proud to be your motivation to keep you going here. How was Tough Mudder Challenges for you?
I think I needed it. My COVID bellies made a great entrance through all of this, pandemic. So having the challenges come up has just given me a massive kick up the rear end. Not only to get out and do something, but meeting people, talking to people, trying to rope people into doing it. Just the encouragement on the TM page, the challenges page. You're struggling. I'm having a crap day or a bad day. If I'm trying to do, say, True Finisher, the amount of people that just jump in to try and offer advice and help, it's just sometimes you need it. It really helps. So yeah, loved it, needed it. Can't wait for Fiji.
All right. Well, we'll see you next month.